Hey there folks, and welcome to this video, and I thought it would be a good idea to sit down and talk about EA Sports WRC for a few minutes. I've been playing a lot of it recently, albeit not the career mode due to the issues that there currently are with career mode saves and them potentially corrupting. But what I wanted to do is, a bit similarly to talk about things like those kinds of things with the game, I want to look at 5 areas I think could be great areas of improvement for Codemasters and EA with EA Sports WRC. The first one is livery templates for offline editing. Now, in Dirt Rally 2, we didn't have this at all, and we didn't have it for the original Dirt Rally. It was much easier to import them for Dirt Rally, the original one, rather than Dirt Rally 2. I saw some people were importing it wrong, using them in online sessions, getting themselves supposedly, like, VAC banned. And, honestly, it's the implementation of an anti-cheat system in WRC that is discouraging me from doing that myself with some of the cars we got here. But I was under the impression that part of the reason why we couldn't have these templates was because they weren't able to edit the liveries as part of the licensing. However, with EA Sports WRC, you are now able to do that, which means that, in theory, we should be able to have access to these templates. Now, part of this is probably due to how the game's designed to be the similar build on PC and console. In comparison, things like Sede Corsa Competizione, the console versions are behind the PC versions of the game, meaning that you don't tend to get the ability to, crossplay. Because sometimes the physics is quite different, like balance, performance, and everything like that. But what you could do here is you could say, alright, we'll just make this a bit more open source and we'll create slots for people to import them into. Because the livery editor, whilst it's nice, it's great that it's got mirroring in now because it didn't at the start and that discouraged me from making liveries. It's still very simplistic. And I would love to be able to make something in the design that I would like for a Rally 2 or Rally 1 car, or even for a Rally 3, and then it's, kind of drops the stickers on top of it that are needed for particular events. I think that'd be really nice. I mean, you can get some awesome tribute liveries as well. I've seen people have been doing the proper Martini one for the Focus. I've seen people doing the full sponsorship version of the 2002 206. I think I've seen some people doing the Marlboro one as well. But it would be wonderful to see that because I loved that with the original Dirt Rally, and I remember having like Thierry Neville's Works livery on the i20. And even at one point I made my own livery for the i20. If you look at my channel information, I think it's still my channel banner. The next thing would be realistic championship contracts like part-time drivers. Now, this is something that Killerton had. It took them a while to implement it. I don't think it was in for WRC 5, but it was definitely in by WRC 6. I remember doing a part-time season which included Rally China. It'd be really nice to have that, because then it means you could go, alright, you've done well enough to get a Rally 1 drive, but it's not a full-time drive. If you do well on that one, you can get a full-time one. And it would mean that you get a bit more of that kind of immersion in there. It'd also be nice to see the point standings being allocated, well, the points being allocated based off of your finishing position, but I mean, Killerton never did that, regardless of your class. So you could see, like, Rally 2 people up in, like, I don't know, 8th in the standings, because they always end up in the points. But because they've got the issue of there not being 10 Rally 1 cars, they need to make it so there's a bit of a challenge for you to get points. So whilst there are 12 people, that's what they need to do. It's an issue wider with the WRC, and you can already talk about that in other places I know I have on this channel. The third one, and this is something that's come up recently for me, is the improved exporting of data for clubs. Right now you export it as a CSV and you have to export ones for stages and then ones for overall. And like Dirt Rally 2, it wasn't the easiest one, unless you went into the kind of source code for your browser. You just have to do copying and pasting. But this one's a bit more difficult because the overall time is not attached to the stage times. Those are both different ones. And, like, it includes hours, and it goes to the millionths of a second. It goes to some absurd extent. Instead of going to milliseconds, I think it goes down to, like, millionths of a second. But then the last 4 zeros are just not used at all. And it means that if you are working with those kinds of formulae, it gets tough. Because you then need to import each sheet individually, as I found, and what used to be like a 5-minute job for me with my Dirt Rally 2 clubs is now, I think I've got it down to 10, but it could easily be 15 at first when you're getting used to it. I think on top of that, just some further stability improvements, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure in the Puma it still has the glitch where if you're running a custom livery, the roof doesn't exist on board. And just general kind of frame drop things and problems that happen where it overwhelms. And I mean, I've got quite a powerful CPU with 32 gigabytes of RAM, and my graphics card's a 4080, and the fact that it can get graphically overwhelmed suggests that there are still some stability issues with the game. And the final one, and this is almost like a kind of beg, please, can we not make this annual releases? WRC was annual releases of Killerton. It's always been annual releases, in fact. Thinking back to like Milestone or even Evolution Studios. And of course EA and Cody's do that with the F1 game already. But Dirt Rally wasn't. I mean, Colin McRae Rally kinda was, but Dirt Rally wasn't. And if you want to make this like the place to do rally sims, you keep this title. You just keep adding into it. So next season when Poland's back, Lipaja is in the calendar. Keep them in there. And maybe add an ERC event as well, like Hungary. You could do the new one, which I think is pure gravel, or the old one, which is like the kind of tarmac, slightly mixed surface. It would be brilliant to have more tarmac events, and the ERC has that with Ila Canaria, for example, or this season when they had Silesia, or the Barham Rally, and then you'd have two settings of the Czech Republic, or Czechia, because the CER one is there. Or even go and add even more historical rallies. Oh, I would love to see Panzerplatte back, for example. Overall, like, WRC I think is my go-to rally game now. Largely because these games are so big that I can't really keep it in dirt installed at the same time. But it's so much more plug and play and so much easier to run than RBR. And I'll be honest, when it comes to RBR, like, the Rally Sim fans is great for the kind of breadth of content, but the depth isn't quite the same as, say, something older that doesn't necessarily always use NGP, like Rally Sims RSRBR. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.